Hello there.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so we are back in open session here. We have a couple of more TDF applications on the docket here. So if we could move through those, and then we'll take care of the resolutions afterwards. Alana, the Poutine Feast.
Sorry, I had lots of papers here. Just getting them in order here. So yes, we have 4 other TDF applications up for review. You'll notice in your board package that you were provided with the summaries and the evaluation matrix in advance. So I was hoping that would give the board an opportunity to have reviewed it prior to coming in, so that I can provide you with an overview of what their application is, and then answer any questions to the best of my knowledge. So for Poutine Feast, an overview, they are looking for funds to support the festival. It's going to be held June 30th to July 3rd. The original ask was for $10,000 for marketing and promotion. Poutine Feast is an annual event that has been here for the last few years, looking to draw visitors down to the downtown area with out-of-town poutine vendors over the Canada Day weekend. Their projections are just shy of 2,000 local people, around 1,100 people coming in from the region, and then so on and so forth, Ontario 67. What you'll notice is that I've identified the large number of tourists that they had indicated on their application are likely not here specifically for the festival. Those are likely tourists that have arrived in Sault Ste. Marie for the Canada Day weekend who are participating in the event because they're here in town. So it's a complimentary festival to the tourism lineup for the summer. When I put the numbers through the evaluation matrix, came out with a score, putting it in and around a recommended value of $5,000 for consideration. So that's the staff recommendation. If anybody has any questions on the information provided, I'm happy to try and answer them on the best of my.
Did any board members have questions for Alana with regards to the application for $5,000 for support of Poutine Fest? No? Okay, so let's have a look at the next application then, Alana, the Marconi Meets World.
Okay. I'll talk while I'm finding my papers here. The Marconi Meets World is a new festival that is going to be expanding out from the original Italian festival that the Marconi Cultural Center is looking to host this year. They've expanded it out to include 3 full days of programming, each day focusing on culture, one day specifically dedicated to Indigenous culture, and then one day dedicated as well to Italian culture. They have a lineup of entertainers looking to come in and do live stage performances in the evening. Their original ask was for $20,000 to support the marketing of the event to draw folks coming in from out of town. Using their numbers that we put through the evaluation matrix, you'll notice I've indicated they're quite ambitious with their estimated out of town visitation. That's the number that they need to reach to be able to break even and generate profit from this event. So when I put the numbers through the evaluation matrix, it sits at a recommendation of around $10,000 to support the festival. I will reiterate that the risk for any operational loss does lie with the Marconi. So if they don't meet their targets for ticket sales, that is their responsibility. They're asking money specifically for marketing to help promote bringing people in from out of town, and some money to support the logistics of the event with staging. So that is the recommendation from our side. I like the growth of taking the one-day Italian festival, expanding it out to 3 full days of programming. There is an opportunity to bring folks in from out of town and stay for a weekend of cultural celebrations with this one. So I'll turn it over to the board if you have any questions or any comments. I do have the Marconi available to ask. They're on the line to text if you have any questions for them. Otherwise, I can try and help on the best of my ability.
Does anybody have any questions? Or they thoroughly reviewed the documentation put forward? Okay, so next we have the Queen Street Cruise. I see Joe currently isn't with us, but he does have a declaration of pecuniary interest on this one here. Are we good to move ahead with Joe just not here? Oh, there he is.
Yeah, we're okay to move ahead. He has declared.
It's an open, he's just not allowed to comment or discuss on it.
Correct.
Okay.
So the Queen Street Cruise is another familiar event that is operating this summer. Actually, it's in June next month. And it is a local festival that was established to bring, initially it was a community event intended to attract car enthusiasts to show their cars in a downtown parade. It's complemented with live music, food vendors, beer gardens. It's a 2-day event, Friday night over into the Saturday the next day. The Queen Street Cruise is looking to take their event to try and grow it and expand it out into a larger tourism offering. There has been a lot of homework gone into this event, looking at the market and recognizing that St. Ignace car show, which is, I believe it's the weekend before, does attract thousands of people coming. So there's an opportunity to try and pull some of those folks over to our area to participate in our show. The visitation for the Queen Street Cruise is largely local, sitting around 2,000 people locally. Visitors showing right now around 140, with guests coming from across Ontario and the USA. For this year, recognizing that the Queen Street Cruise is next month, they are looking for money to support advertising with CTV commercial and radio ads to try and draw folks in to participate, with the goal of returning to Tourism Sault Ste. Marie for a larger ask for next year to try and amplify marketing to increase their registration and numbers of people coming in from out of town. The evaluation matrix scores the Queen Street Cruise with a recommended value of approximately $5,000 for consideration.
Galana, I'm going to stop you there because I just want to ask a global question on those first three, because the next one, it's easy. But so global question is, how are we to determine how many of these people that attend these events are actually tourists?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I have had conversation with each of these applicants. Starting with Poutine Feast, they do plan on having site surveys for people walking around the grounds, asking people quick survey questions. The Poutine Feast recognizes that the number of people coming to their festival are likely not coming specifically because of Poutine Feast. They're in town for other reasons. So they're looking to try and gather some data as well that can help us understand why people are here and what brought them here. And they'll be doing some ground surveys to collect that data. For the Marconi Meets World, their application, their largest metric of evaluating where guests are coming from is through their ticket sales. So they'll be prompted to put in their contact details when they purchase their tickets. And then they are able to track the number of out-of-town visitors that are tied to the event with the entertainers and whatnot, because they have contracts with them. So they know X band is bringing X number of people and specifically related to that band. So for the visitors, it will be gate entry that they'll be tracking it. And then for the Queen Street Cruise, again, it's a similar situation where they're able to track registrations based on the folks that are registering their cars and where they're coming from. In terms of visitors, I have had conversations around the same thing, doing site surveys and asking where people are coming from. their largest metric to be able to grow their event will be in their registrations.
Okay,
Does that help?
thank you. Yep, thank you.
And then what we do too, just as a reminder, when we do the agreements with the applicants, we do outline in detail what their final report numbers need to report on. So the agreement will detail that, and then we send out a template for final reporting, asking how did you track data, where did it come from, what are your final numbers. So we do have that as a requirement for all of these applications.
Thank you. Anyone else have questions for Alana with regards to the Queen Street Cruise or the previous two? Okay, so moving on to the 2022 CIF-IFC conference.
Okay, so this is a conference that's going to be coming to Sault Ste. Marie in the fall. It's been postponed for the last couple of years for the pandemic. It is a 4-day conference dedicated to forestry and forestry research. Folks will be coming from primarily across Ontario. They have confirmed attendance of 200 out-of-town visitors over 4 days. To Richard's point, it is pretty straightforward where these people are coming from. They are looking for funding to support their conference. They do have some site tours and social events that are taking place. They're looking for money to help offset to better showcase Sault Ste. Marie as a host destination for their conference. So when I put their numbers through the evaluation matrix, their original ask was for $20,000. The matrix recommends, again, it's the same thing, $5,000 for consideration.
Alana, I'm sorry, did I miss the dates of the IFC conference? They're not sticking with me.
September 11 to 14, 2022.
Did we have any further questions for Alana with regards to the other TDFs on the table? Okay, so if that covers all of the applications, we'll go back through and we'll move through the resolutions from what's been put in front of us during this meeting. The first resolution is with regards to Forest the Canoe. It reads, be it resolved that Tourism Sault Ste. Marie recommend a $15,000 contribution through the Tourism Development Fund product development stream to support Forest the Canoe's application for a True North adventure bus operating August 22nd to October 8th, 2022, and that a report be submitted to City Council for consideration and approval. Do I have a mover on this resolution? Kelly? And a seconder, Brad? And if I could call for a vote, all in favor of this? Motion carried. And the next resolution on the table was for the application from Thrive Tours. And we have Brad here. He does have a pecuniary interest, so he's unable to vote in this matter. The resolution reads, be it resolved that Tourism Sault Ste. Marie recommend a $48,000 contribution through the Tourism Development Fund product development stream to Thrive Tours, and that a report be submitted to City Council for consideration and approval. Further, be it resolved that this funding be conditional upon a legal agreement between both parties. Do I have anyone to move on this motion? Don't have a mover. Okay. Travis, direction on this one then?
So Beverly, the resolution would fail.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be any movement forward. And I guess, Beverly, if you'd like, I can give some more discussion points for Brad and Thrive.
Yep.
So Brad, obviously Tourism Sault Ste. Marie has a huge amount of respect for the work that Thrive has done over the past here in a bit, and we recognize that you guys are a leader in terms of local Indigenous tourism. Our staff would like very much to continue to work with you to flesh out this concept and to support you in the development of this concept. You know, we've got 100% support from staff here to kind of put some meat on the bones with respect to a potential application in the future, as well as you know, assist with any other, as we do with other tour operators, any other grants applications that are available. So we can, both Alana and I can follow up with you offline and talk about potential next steps here.
And
Sounds great.
Brad,
Thank you for the opportunity.
The board really appreciates the information that you brought forward, and we are hoping to continue to work with you and Amanda and see how we can support you with other endeavors.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, so the next resolution on the agenda was the Poutine Feast. Be it resolved that Tourism Sault Ste. Marie recommend a contribution up to $5,000 through the Tourism Development Fund, conferences and special event stream to support the Poutine Feast June 30th to July 3rd, 2022, and that a report be submitted to City Council for consideration and approval. Do I have a mover on this motion? Richard, and a seconder, Nick. And if I could call for a vote of all in favor. Okay. Motion carried. Next up is the TDF application for Marconi Meets World. Be it resolved that Tourism Sault Ste. Marie recommend a contribution up to $10,000 through the Tourism Development Fund, conferences and special events stream to support the Marconi Meets World event, July 21st to 23rd, 2022, and that a report be submitted to City Council for consideration and approval. Do I have a mover for this resolution? Nick, and a seconder, Elia. And a call for a vote in all in favor. Okay, motion carried. Next up is the TDF application for the Queen Street Cruise. Again, Joe has a interest in this, so he has to abstain from voting. Be it resolved that Tourism Sault Ste. Marie recommend a contribution up to $5,000 through the Tourism Development Fund, conferences and special event stream to support the Queen Street Cruise, June 17th and 18th, 2022, and that a report be submitted to City Council for consideration and approval. Do I have a mover? Kelly, and Lawrence is a seconder, and a call for a vote of those in favor. And motion carried. And the final application in front of us this afternoon is the TDF application for the 2022 CIF IFC Conference and 114th Annual General Meeting. The resolution reads, be it resolved that Tourism Sault Ste. Marie recommend a contribution up to $5,000 through the Tourism Development Fund, conferences and special events stream to support the 2022 CIF IFC Conference and 114th Annual General Meeting, and that a report be submitted to City Council for consideration and approval. Do I have a mover? Kelly and Lawrence as a seconder again, and a call for a vote of those in favor. And motion carried. Okay, so that brings us to the end of our resolutions. Next meeting is slotted for June 16th of next month. If there's nothing further today, I will call for someone to move for adjournment. Kelly, and a seconder. Brad, and that's it. We're done for today, guys. Thanks, everyone. Really appreciate your time. I know it was a longer meeting today.